but still I woke up today. Another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Effort and bill for pan ready. Whoa, whoa. Effort and bill for pan ready. I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today. Another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Effort and bill for pan ready. Whoa, whoa. Effort and bill for pan ready.
Between the Lines. Welcome to another episode of Between the Lines presented to you by Live Wire Sports. We are back again for another great show this week. A very special guest here this evening, but before we get into that, we want to give you an update on what's next for Live Wire Sports. We have action coming up this weekend, so stay tuned to the page as we'll be covering the basketball tournament over in St. Croix for the Department of Education. So Live Wire Sports is up and going again. The kids are on the court. The girls and boys are on the fields as well. So we have a lot of sports going on here on Live Wire Sports. Don't forget, we also have summertime coming up. We got some adult leagues coming up as well. So we'll be broadcasting some of those throughout the summer as well. We also have stats. We have scores from your favorite athletes, both locally and abroad. So keep it tuned to your favorite Facebook page, Live Wire Sports. Also on Instagram and YouTube as well. But tonight is not about Live Wire Sports. It's not about Between the Lines, but it's all about our very special guest, Miss Isis Collier. Isis, how are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Welcome to the show. Have you ever seen the show before? Have you ever heard about it before? Looks like we're having some technical difficulties here. We're going to get Isis back on track. Can you hear us now? All right, we seem to be having some trouble here. Can you hear us now?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We're good to go. Sounds good to go.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome to the show once again, Isis. Have you seen the show before?
I've seen like a couple bits of it, yeah, before.
So that sounds like you know what to expect.
But not all the way through.
Oh, that's even better because we have some surprises at the end of each show for every guest. So pretty much a basic interview here for you, but we got something really special coming up as well. So we hope you're prepared for that coming towards the end of our show here this evening.
Sounds good.
All right, so before we get started, do you have any special nicknames, any friends, family members, or anyone calls you that we can call you here tonight to keep you a little bit more comfortable?
A lot of people call me either Ice or Icy, like Icy.
Like Icy, like from Wawa, like 7-Eleven Icy?
Mm-hmm. Or Icy Hot.
That's a good one. Knowing your career path, Icy Hot is a really good nickname. I actually like that one.
Yep.
So we might have to change your name here from Isis to Icy Hot just to keep the fans a little bit more engaged.
Sounds good.
Now, where are you from, Isis?
So I'm originally from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, born and raised. Lived there all my life up until went to college for my undergrad.
Okay. Now, would you start in school here? Did you see a big difference when you left from going to school in Virgin Islands to actually going to school stateside?
Yeah, for me, for one, definitely like a culture shock in terms of like coming from a Caribbean island where it's majority African American or Black people, and then going into the States where we were more so considered the minority, and then also the like cold weather. I was not ready for that one. I went all the way to the Midwest, so I was in Iowa, and
not too many people go to Iowa straight from here, but that's definitely a culture shock there. How quickly were you ready to come home when you experienced that cold weather?
As soon as it got to like mid-September, and it was like getting down to like 70, 72. I'd be at practice with my jacket on, all the girls making fun of me, like, Isis, it's not even cold. I'm like, it's cold to me.
Wow.
But I would say like around probably October, I was like, yeah, I want to go back home. Even though like all my like I'm like, I'm ready to go states. I'm ready to go states. I can't wait to leave. And then when you leave, that's when you realize like how much you really appreciate home and like what it has to offer in terms of like the people, the culture, the environment, just the island life, like how everything goes and the people, like just experiencing like how people are. I feel like as people from Virgin Islands, we're very outspoken and very like we have manners and friendly and like to like talk and have a good vibe, but it's like sometimes in the States like people give me side eye for saying good afternoon, good morning. They're looking at me like what are you doing? But it was like that's just what like we're used to, so it was different.
Now, when's the last time you've been home?
um I want to say December. Yeah, December. But I'll be back home like for June because I do still play weddings. That's my other specialty. I play violin. So everybody knows me a lot as the Virgin Island violinist. So if you know me as the Virgin Island violinist, then you know me like that, or you know me as the sport girl
Right.
playing sports.
We got some sports, we got some music, multi-talented here. We like it, we like it. Now let's get into your sports career. Where did sports really start for you?
So sports really started for me like around the age of 4. I attended Virgin Islands Montessori School and Peter Gruber International Academy now. So like for me, I started off with soccer, so I was a part of AYSO. Um, they really had it like ingrained in like our PE, and it was something a sport that I really fell in love with. So I started off with soccer, my main sport that I played like growing up, and then um, I want to say like sixth grade, that's when I got into volleyball as well. Because volleyball was played in like the fall and soccer was played in the spring. So
Right.
I ended up doing both. And then during like 10th grade or ninth grade, I was like about 13, 13 or 14. I was recruited for the women's national team for soccer. It was like U15 at the time when I joined. And so that kind of like really opened my eyes to like, I think I want to play collegiately. And the hard thing was like, especially on an island, you don't have the recruiters coming down there like that. Um, so like during my 11th, my junior, like my sophomore, junior year of high school, I started reaching out to coaches, to schools that I was applying to. I even went to a couple like um, ID camps where they like a bunch of people come and then you go through the drills and do all of that. So I did that, sent out a bunch of emails. I made my recruit tape, my highlights, all of that, send it off. And I had a couple like coaches that were interested in me, a couple D2s, 2 red shirts out of D1, Georgia and Miami, and then D3, which ended up being my last like choice because the D2 and the D1s that I had, those schools I forgot to apply for scholarships for music, and that's what I was going to school for. And my mom was like, "I said you can't, you gotta go to the school that give you money for what you going to school for." And I was like,
Mm.
"Okay." And then the girl, one of my teammates on the national team, she was the assistant coach at the school I ended up attending in Iowa, Cornell College.
Mhm.
She was the assistant coach at the time, and she talked to the coach. Was like, "Yeah, she's a really good player." Like, so then they recruited me at that school. So then I went there 4 years. Um, so sports really been like a part of my whole like life since I was like 4. Or could walk, basically kick a ball.
Nice.
And so going to college, like going into that collegiate athlete, student athlete environment, you know, you want to prove to coach, like, yeah, like I could do whatever you need, like I'm a starter, you know? So it was a preseason game, and my big head self want to show off to the coach. And there's a girl coming down the line, and it's like, so coach finally, because it's like a rotation of all the freshmen, like she wants to see like where they fit with her,
Yeah, I
with
feel like
their structure, basically. And so my position in soccer, I was either, majority of the time I was a right back, and then like national team, they had me right back or defensive mid, somewhere in there. Um, so I went in as a right back, and there's this girl coming down the line, big girl. I'm like 5'1". She had to be at least 5'10", 5'11",
wow.
big, like husky, like she coming, and all my teammates are not going to her. Like they just like, she's a forward. She just running down the line with the ball, just charging, and I'm like, okay. So I stepped her. I was like, she coming at me hard. I gotta come at her hard. And so we collided, and my ankle get like you know, like, so when you twist your ankle, it'll go like this, like
Hmm.
it goes out.
Right.
My ankle went in, so it went the other way, and my body went the opposite way. And all I heard was the sound effects of snap, crackle, pop, sizzle, everything that you could think of. And like I was telling myself, like, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. And then like people said when I got up, like my foot was like just hanging. And so when I looked down, I just started screaming and crying. I was like, no. So I ended up, the injury ended up being I tore all the my medial ankle ligaments, so like on the inner side and on the outside. And I had a minor fracture, so I was out for my whole season. And growing up in the Virgin Islands, like if you fall or do something, it's like you either get up, walk it off, put some ice on it, drink water, or you go into the emergency room. There's like,
Definitely.
you toughen up, get up, you good. Like, what are you doing on the ground? So, as a collegiate athlete, you got the athletic trainer, you got the training staff, you got the athletic training room. So, I was in a boot for like, this happened in August. I was in a boot doing treatment all the way until the end of our season, which was like November, I think. And just going in the training room, athletic training room, day in, day out, my ankle back, they try and get back, back, back. By the time I got back, the season was over. So the coach at the time was like, Isis, you know, you should do lacrosse to keep you in shape. I said, lacrosse? Like, we had played it like in 8th grade in PE because our PE teacher, she was from Ohio, and that's what they played, lacrosse. So she would have us do it. But I really didn't think that I had played it before.
Right.
And so she was like, yeah, the coach, like, she's doing open trials because the previous coach, like, just left and didn't recruit nobody. So they only had like 3 or 4 girls. So she needed to like complete her roster because you need 12 players. So me and my other roommate, who was also on the soccer team, we were like, you know what, we're gonna go to trials and like see what it's about.
Right.
So I went there, ended up really liking it. So I ended up doing it. So I ended up doing soccer and lacrosse. But I thought soccer was running, lacrosse, that was like running times 2. We doing track workouts, we doing running, everything. I probably lost about 15 to 20 pounds just in the preseason alone.
Just from running.
And running, just running. And because it was like you had to run short distance and long distances. So um when I came back, my no, I think it was my freshman year, because I ended up going to school for a major in music education, and then I had to change it because it didn't really work out with my like student athlete like practices and stuff. So he was like, okay, because he was like, you have to make a decision, like you have to pick between sports and music, and I was like, I
Always
can't
tough.
do that. I've always done both. Like I can't. So I did. I was like, is there any way to do both music and sports? He was like, well, you can do just a music performance bachelor's as your major. And I was like, okay, let's do that. He was like, well, you'll still have to be in orchestra. You'll still have to be in another ensemble. So then that's when I did steel pen because they had steel pen in Iowa.
That's cool. That's really different.
Look, so I did steel pen and orchestra, and then I had to do piano and violin. So I would be sprinting from class to sport to music, back and forth, staying after with the coaches to do workouts and stuff. And then when I came, so then I ended up doing just a minor in kinesiology, exercise science, which is the major. And then around my junior year, my advisor was like, I says, like you can get the major and have a double major kinesiology exercise science if you just take like two more classes and statistics. And I was like, why not? So ended up doing a double major. And that's when there was a couple classes where we learned how to tape and brace and all that stuff. So when I came home my junior year, going into my senior year, we had practice for national team because we were going to, I think, Trinidad and Tobago.
And this was soccer, right?
Yeah, for soccer. We were going to Trinidad and Tobago for the Women World Cup qualifier games, like with CONCACAF. So we were at practice in St. Croix because that's our like home field.
Right.
So there was a couple girls like, you know, I says like my foot, like I need help. I need my ankle tape, and I was like, oh, I know how to do it because I knew how to do it.
Right.
So I'm over there taping ankles because we didn't have the only time we would have like someone to do that for us was when we like actually got to like Trinidad or Haiti or Jamaica, but they weren't athletic trainers. They're called sports physios.
Mhm.
So they kind of do like the massages. They know like the basic like first aid, emergency care, and they
Right.
know how to tape ankles if ankles need to be taped. But we don't have anybody to do that back home. So I was at practice there. The coaches was like, I says like, have you ever thought about like looking into this? I'm thinking of like, no, like I'm going to go to grad school for music. I had already start applying, doing my auditions, everything. So senior year come around and I go back to Iowa, graduate, all that stuff. And I ended up getting like a full ride to University of Miami, performance. And then I turned it down because I started looking to, I heard that voice in the back of my head, like, there's no athletic trainer. Well, I found out there is one now because I had to shadow with her
Right.
um, at the University of the Virgin Islands. So I turned down and I came back and I'm looking at all the requirements you need into grad school for athletic training because athletic training it used to be a bachelor's. So you would do a bachelor's and then when you go get your master's, you would do like a GA ship. So like they would pay for your school and then you would be assigned to a team at that school and you're already certified, you're all that. But now they moved it to where it's a master's.
Mhm.
So you go to school, get your master's in athletic training, and then you go wherever you want to go. And you get certified, then you go where you want to go. So it's kind of a little bit harder for us because the experience that we have is just like your school experience, if that makes sense. Whereas when it was a bachelor's, you're already certified, and now you go and get your master's, and then you're working with a team, and you're getting that hands-on. Like you still have somebody behind you if you need it, but you
Right.
kind of like the one-man show. So I'm looking at the prerequisite, have chemistry, physics. I'm like, I didn't take any of these. So I was like, dang, I gotta go to UVI and see if I could get these classes because I really want to go. So I ended up taking, after I graduated, I took a gap year. My gap year was not a gap year because I was at UVI taking chemistry, physics.
Right.
I retook anatomy and physiology. So during that time, I looked into the requirements. You have to have over 50 hours of observation. So I went to the athletics and I was like, is there any way, like, they're like, oh yeah, we have an athletic trainer. She's based in St. Croix, but she'll be here for basketball. You could shadow with her. And then I even got a way in to shadow some of the team athletic trainers during Paradise Jam. So that was really cool.
That's
I got
amazing.
I got to be with Bowling Green, the Gamecocks, of course. And then it was Grand Canyon University, I think it was at the time, and Baylor. So I got to like just be on the sideline with them, just, listening to what they were doing, like seeing how they like ask questions, just, if they needed help, I was there to help.
What year
Um,
was this?
hmm?
What year was this?
2019. So like right before COVID hit, like literally. Like it
Right.
was the right, yeah.
November.
So yep. So I had applied. I knew I wanted to go to Florida because I was like, I'm sick of the cold. I don't want to go anywhere far fetched on the west, the east, Florida. So I applied. I looked up the best schools for athletic training, like who had the best programs in Florida, and it came up with like UCF. I applied to UCF, FIU, UNF, um, U UNF, USF, and a couple others. But UCF was my top one just because of like the faculty and like that they've been in the seats of like they came like help write the exam questions. Their test rate for passing was high. The sites that you had like experience like the sites that you were gonna be either you could have the potential of being placed at, whether it was like professional, Division 1, obviously because they're Division 1. They had high schools, clinic, then the alumni was like NFL, NBA, like just everywhere you could think of. So I was like, okay. So I got in and we were supposed to like the summer, it's a 2-year program and it starts in May. So when COVID hit, they were like, oh, like it's still gonna, we still trying to make sure you guys like we figure it out. Like you guys are still gonna come to campus. Like we feel like COVID gonna die down. Like COVID is just a little flu, like it don't pass. Still didn't pass. It's coming up May. We are starting like May 6th or something. So we supposed to be on campus for this program, but my whole program started online, like Zoom. We were Zoom doing like CPR on your plant, doing evaluations on your dog, the pillow, your stuffed animal, people doing it on themselves, like to create videos. Just like our whole, basically my whole first year was on Zoom, except for we got to, um, they brought us on to campus to like kind of do like a quick skills challenge to make sure we knew what we were doing in terms of like spine boarding, CPR, all that stuff. And so when we got on campus, we had to get tested every Wednesday for COVID.
That's
And we,
that's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. And every Wednesday. And then if you were with football, like say you worked a football game, you had to get tested the Monday, the Wednesday, the Friday before the game, and then the Monday following the game. So, and then like wearing masks, of course. So it was definitely an experience. And then we were kind of like face to face on our lab days, but we were still on Zoom. And then spring, we finally kind of got to just be, they were like, yeah, we're going to make sure you guys are on campus because with athletic training, it's a lot of hands-on. Like you can't really just learn on Zoom just
Right.
because we're part of the healthcare field. So there's a lot of things that you want to make sure you know how to do properly on a human body
A lot of
rather
hands on.
on a yeah, rather than just on a stuffed animal or a plant. I was it was it was crazy. So that just knowing the fact that my end goal is to bring like athletic training, just even kind of just opening the eyes to other Virgin Islanders about the field of kinesiology, exercise science, or just kinesiology itself is really big because there's a lot of people that love sports and love the human body, just like um, you can do a lot with kinesiology. You could be a PE teacher, you could be a sports psychologist, you could do PT, physical therapy, athletic training, you could be a personal trainer, you could be a um, exercise,
A
the
trainer,
people that,
this
yeah,
trainer.
I'm losing my train of thought, but like the people who are in charge of the athletes' workouts. It's not like the personal trainer, but it's for, like for the team.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
definitely. More so just like a actual fitness trainer, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for the team. So those are like things that you can do with that field. People even use it to go into pre-med, go become doctors because it's like you're learning the body specifically. And a lot of people who take that course before going to med school is like really beneficial from the friends that I know who took kinesiology and went to the medical field. So
Now we want to get back a little bit into your youth and playing sports. Now, which was your favorite before you got onto the national team? Which was your favorite sport to actually participate in?
I would say still soccer.
Still
Because,
soccer.
like, for volleyball, I couldn't really do much. I was just a libero because I was, short in stature. So I really only got the show time a couple of times when they needed me instead of being there for the whole rotation. So,
Right.
but I would say soccer because it's more physical. I like to be physical, more
So
aggressive sport. So,
is there any other sport that you thought about picking up on the way, maybe through soccer, maybe through volleyball? Anything else that you thought about playing that you didn't get a chance to play?
um, definitely basketball and softball. Because by the time I was like, I mean, it's never too late to start a sport, but
Definitely.
when my school, if I had went to public school, I definitely would have did um, basketball and softball for sure. But by the time Montessori had get basketball, I was like in 10th grade. And I was like, I don't think, like, you could put in the work, but I was already doing two sports. Like, I didn't want to, you know, but definitely softball and basketball.
Now you went to Montessori for all of your schooling before college.
Since I was 3 all the way until I graduated. I was supposed to go to um Charlotte Mali like 10th grade to 12th due to like financial stuff, but they were like, "No, we've had you since you were here. We'll try and help you." Like some I ended up staying for all basically up until I was 18, 17.
Now, just going through sports, playing so many sports, or being interested in sports all of your life, how important of a factor do you think it is, or was it for you that you played sports, and how did it help you moving through life?
I definitely feel like building like a bunch of friendships from even different age groups and different, people that I met. I made so many different friends from all over the island, not just and even in the States, just from playing sports like so I would say for sure, just being able to socialize kind of like getting out of the bubble instead of being like, when usually some children are very shy and timid, but if it's like you thinking like you're just playing with other children, it kind of, builds that confidence within yourself. And then I also feel like playing sports, it kind of enlightens and heightens the sense of teamwork. Like you know how to work with others in terms of on and off the field. Um, and also with my communication skills, I feel like if I really didn't play sports, I feel like communication wouldn't have been uh, a strong suit of mine. I kind of would have been just timid, not really wanting to. But it's like in sports, you kind of are like forced to talk. Like you have to talk in order to make sure
Definitely.
everybody is on the same page. Because if just like in volleyball, plain and simple, if you don't talk, that ball going. If nobody says is mine, the ball going drop, and it's like that's an easy point that you could have saved if you was talking, saying mine, mine, mine. So I feel like being into having a background in sports, for one, increases your communication skills, your teamwork skills, learning how to learn from others without, kind of being um, definitely from a coach's standpoint. I feel like when children are constantly being like not picked on, but the coach is constantly like, you need to do more, da 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 da. I feel like it's not that's a good thing. Because if you constantly telling me what I'm doing wrong or what I could do to fix, cares about you. Like that coach sees potential in you. If a coach wasn't telling me, Isis, you need to run harder, or you need to do this, this is how you're supposed to attack and draw back and this, then it's like they don't really care if I succeed or fail. So I feel like coaches make a really big part of athletes. They can be the difference between um, someone and also being able to kind of manage your time. Um, that's one thing for me as a growing up. I was in so many different things that I've always been busy, 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 and I learned how to like manage my time. And I feel
Yes.
like that's one of like the strong suits I've had, even going into college and even grad school. Like teachers were always saying like, I don't know how you're doing this. Like I was working like a job slash two jobs through grad school and going to clinicals and doing my schoolwork. And it was just like I've always learned how to manage my time in terms of being an athlete, a student athlete, and then also being in a collegiate setting of playing my violin, like music major, and then being an athlete at the same time. So I would definitely say like athletes have to know how to manage their time because not only do you need to have good grades, you have to be able to withstand like the mental, the physical, emotional exertion that you experience. So it for one thing I would say like to all athletes out there is just learning how to speak your mind and not being afraid to like tell somebody how you're actually feeling just because of the things that we have to endure and not everybody understands what it takes to be a student athlete because it's a lot.
Definitely. I just like the fact that you mentioned some of those things like communication and teamwork because a lot of people who don't play sports don't tend to see the benefit of playing sports. And you're doing these things from 3 or 4 years old. Those skills continue to build and it kind of shapes you as a person as you go forward. So definitely agree with you on everything you said about playing sports and how it benefits you in life.
Yeah.
Now, any special awards, any special trophies that you won or you received during your high school or middle school years?
Middle school. Uh, middle school. That'd be JV, right? Like JV.
JV, yeah.
I think for volleyball, we had a pretty good season and we had gotten the medals. And then, like, you know how schools have like their own little banquet and stuff. I would say more so during my high school years. That's when I got a lot more awards in terms of being like leader on the field or um just someone who because I was playing goalkeeper as well. I forgot to say that. That was my main position. up until 10th grade. It was on and off between defense and goalkeeper. And there was a picture of me in newspaper one year. I think I was in 10th grade. I had made a save mid-air, and you could see the dude, like his foot is like right in my face. They didn't catch the aftermath of that picture, but that was my friend Chris McDonald. We were playing Antilles School, and that I'm pretty sure he kicked me in the face at the end of it, but we good now. But it was a really good save. I had a lot of really good saves during my high school and JV career as a goalkeeper. And then in college, I was defender of the year for my freshman year in lacrosse. Um, the they had like those spirit awards. I was always the one who was like the hype of the team. Like I would get everybody dancing and cheering, and everyone would just always love to have me around. So those are a couple of awards I got throughout my years.
Now, with soccer being your main sport in college, and you kind of transferring over, well, you're playing on the same field with lacrosse, right? Just about the same field.
So lacrosse is played on a football field length. So it's a little bit longer, I believe.
Now, how was the transition for you? I mean, soccer is running, but how was the transition of being even more physical with sports, which you kind of like? Anyways, how did you make that transition from soccer onto lacrosse?
For me, it was more so learning like the technique and the rules of the game, because at first it was very confusing because there was a lot of rules, especially with women's lacrosse. You can't be physical at all. So that was like an adjust for me because soccer is very physical. So I would get a lot of calls and even get taken out the game because I'm too physical.
Right.
So kind of learning how to like draw back was one thing, and then also learning how to like have hand-eye. Like for goalkeeping, you have to have hand-eye coordination, but being able to like you have to keep the ball constantly, like you have to run constantly with the ball. And just the way the setup for defense, because I played defense, was kind of like we would set it up like how basketball defenses run, whether it's like man or zone. So they had like our women's basketball team like come and teach us how they mark and how they play man and how they talk. Because for that we had to talk on defense. So that was probably a switch up for me because you kind of relied on more people for coverage, and then kind of like knowing like that switch. Like in soccer, you're not calling like switch and like mark, like roll, like all those. Like we didn't really have plays like knowing every single play, kind of like how plays for football and basketball. We had plays for offense, defense, and like having to sit down and go through your plays. That was different for me because like for soccer, usually the only time you really have plays is on free kicks or how your formation is set up. It's not really plays. So that was something I had to adjust to as a player. So I would say those right there.
Now, did you have some more successful years when you were doing college lacrosse? Any winning season, any big tournaments, any awards while you were in college?
So my senior year, we had for lacrosse, we had made it almost to the conference tournament, but it was like if we had won the last game, we would have went, but we had lost it by 1 point, which is sad. And then for soccer, it was the same thing. We made it to like the first round, but got knocked out. So, yeah.
Now, would you be interested in seeing like us play soccer lacrosse in the schools here in the Virgin Islands? Would that be something you'd like to see going forward?
That would be interesting. That would be cool. I know because I've been in contact. like they have like the lacrosse national team now for both women's and men's. So I
And
know
they've
they
already.
had do like a,
Oh wow, I did not know that.
yeah, yeah. So I can forward you on the information. But they do a lot of stuff more so. I know sometimes at Antilles and then also some like because they have a bunch of sticks and balls, they could probably get them into the public schools in terms of like for PE and just after school program. Because they do have a lot of sticks in their possession if needed.
Have you ever tried out for the team or thought about trying out for the national team for lacrosse?
I have, but they were looking at me more so for like the athletic training side. I definitely do want to play lacrosse again though. It's very I loved it in college and it's definitely like a sport that I grew to love. So I wouldn't mind like being like player slash help on the side.
That would actually be pretty amazing. I would love to see that league. Like you get to play during the game, and then when somebody does get injured, you kind of switch roles. They put you on the bench, and you kind of deal with the players as you should. So that would be actually pretty cool to see. We've seen
Yeah.
player coaches before. So trainer players, that sounds like an interesting one that you might be able to pull off on the national team here for lacrosse. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And during my clinical experience, I could tell you like what sports I did work with in terms of like my because you have like rotations. So like
Right.
during your first year, you kind of like it's split between half of us go to high schools and then half of us stay at UCF. But because it was COVID, we were all at high school. I mean, all at UCF for the fall. So my rotations were men's soccer, track and field, cross country, and then football because everybody has to do a rotation with football just for that experience. And then my spring semester, I was with a high school. And then your second year, it's like your immersive semester. So you're there, like it's your job. You're there between 30 to 40 hours a week. You don't really you have class, but it's online. It's like an online project you're doing. So I was assigned with men's soccer. And then my spring semester, I was with UCF softball. And yesterday, um, they beat Michigan. So they're going to so we hosted the regional because they won conference.
Right.
So they won their conference, the AAC, I believe, the ACC. But they won their conference and then they have the regional softball championship. And we were lucky enough to host it at our softball field at UCF in Orlando. And the teams were Villanova, South Dakota, Michigan, and then UCF. And I was able to help out with them because I was like, I still want to help out even though I graduated because I
Right.
miss them so much. So they played Michigan. That was their first game. And I was at this little function that one of our teachers was holding about like critical incident management. So learning how to, God forbid, there's an active shooter or something like around you, just kind of having those skill sets to deal with um, acute management of bigger issues other than taping an ankle, doing an evaluation. Because like we're the EMS before EMS gets there. So like
Right.
we have to know how to manage the situation, know how to care for the athlete or the person before EMS gets there. So that's kind of what they were teaching us, and we were helping out with that. And we were watching the game, and we were down by 2 in like the bottom of I think it was the 5th inning, bottom of the 5th. And then we ended up getting 1. And the game started at 11. It's
Wow.
not like 3 o'clock. And the same girl pitched. She pitched the whole game. The game lasted 4 hours and 30 minutes. She pitched over 182 pitches. And we ended up beating Michigan 3-2. So then we had to play the next time we played them, we beat them. So we knocked them out. So now they're going to the super regionals and they play against Oklahoma.
Wow.
And Oklahoma beat, I think they played Texas A&M and they beat Texas A&M 20-0. I was like, dang. So we got a big game coming up. So yeah.
The reigning national champs. That should be a pretty good game. You guys seem like a scrappy team. So are you excited to? Are you traveling with them when they go to play the super regional?
No, because I'm no longer with them, but I'll be watching and cheering them on from afar.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We're gonna take our first commercial break here of the evening, though. Isis, don't you go anywhere. We got some more coming up with you. And between the Lions fans, we have a lot in store for you in the second half of the show. So don't you guys go anywhere. We're right back after these few messages.
still I woke up today. Another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, oh, oh, oh. Half for it, I'm built for it, pondering. Oh, oh, oh. Half for it, I'm built for it, pondering.
All right, we are back. We are back here. Isis, you still with us here?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, all right. So we're gonna get into more so now of your current career, your daily lifestyle. What is your current career and where are you working right now?
So right now, I'm currently still working part-time at Foot Locker, here in Orlando, and we just had to take um, I took my certification exam in like on April 31st, and we got our results. Sorry, March 31st.
March
I took it
31st.
on March 31st, and we got our results. We were supposed to get them in like around April 16th. We didn't get them until probably like April, like basically a month later. Um, so we finally, um, so I passed the first round. So I'm just waiting on my degree to get like processed so I could send it to so it could get sent to their board, um, to send me my certification so I could have the ATC, LAT, MS, or MAT behind my name. And then once I get that certification, I have to do the whole process for licensure in the state of Florida because I accepted a position of resident athletic trainer at the Bethune-Cookman University. So it's a 2-year residency. So that's where I'll be working. I'm supposed to start around June 15th,
Now, is there
mid June.
any specific sports you're gonna be working with, or you're gonna be working with all the sports?
So so I'm still waiting to hear like the sport that I will have to myself, being that um I did pass my exam the first try. So
Right.
I'll be helping out with football. Um and then I'll have my own sport of my own
Okay.
as well.
Now, which sport are you most looking forward to working with?
Ooh, that's a good question. Now that I experienced softball at the Division 1 like setting, I think that would be one of my choices as well. Being that they don't have soccer, which I'm sad about, but it's okay. And then even maybe basketball. I could see myself with basketball as well.
Now, the day of an athletic trainer kind of varies, but what is a normal day like for an athletic trainer who's working with a particular team? Let's use softball since you last worked with softball.
Okay, softball. Um, so there's really no normal day with athletic training. Being that, there's never like it's not like a 9 to 5 where you're constantly doing the same thing. Things do change. So I would say like it depends on if we're out of season or in season.
Right.
So when I started, they were kind of like ending their preseason, going into season. So when it was preseason, I would be up around 5 5 a.m. to get to the school, like get ready, all that stuff, so I could be there for 6 to prepare the stuff for their lifts, which they would lift around 6:30. Just get water, all that stuff. Make sure it's at the weights, and then from there we go back. They go to breakfast, or we do treatments, whether it's ice baths, making sure everybody signs in, does their ice bath treatments. Girls line up to do treatments depending on what it is, ankle rehab or just kind of like strengthening rehab, um, things like that. Making sure to log all what you did with the athlete into the database, the electrical database. Then they go for class, come back, we start setting up. Before they come back, we start setting up for practice, making sure water, Powerade is made, making sure the both all their water bottles are filled, and then just kind of waiting for athletes to come in for treatment or pre warm up, things like that. And then once season started, it was more so I would come around because I would also work. So I would come in after work, depending on the date, either I would leave practice early or come into work, come after work. So around 3, because they have practice from like 1 to we would probably be there until 6, 7 because they do treatment afterwards. And then when they were away, it was kind of like an off day for me as a student because I didn't travel, but I would help out with football, basketball, whoever needed help at the time, just so I could get more hands and just volunteer hours.
Now, during
In
your,
terms of like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead because it's probably going to be the next question.
I was kind of wondering about like what's your favorite part about doing athletic training? What makes you excited about um, doing what's in your field right now?
I would say like just in terms of like the educational side, I would say like the critical, like the acute care side of things, like dealing with like emergent scenarios, like the first aid or critical management of like an injury or something. And then also like the rehab process of like seeing an athlete, taking an athlete from an injury, like say an ACL or a twisted ankle, shoulder, elbow, anything, and seeing that athlete progress with your help, like the things that you're giving them, it's actually helping them. And then you see them like back on the field. Like that's probably the best thing to me. And then also just like getting to know the athletes and like seeing them as a person because they are a person, not like how everyone else might see them as like, oh my god, they're so famous. Like it's so and so. It's like you get to see like the the actual person. Like they're you and me. Like they get up every day, they eat every day just like you and me. Like they have a personality. Like they are goofy. They're smart too. Like it's not just about the sport that they play. It's about learning about the person. And I feel like that's another thing I love to see is just seeing the growth of the athletes, and being able to like communicate with them on a daily basis and relate with them to make the environment seem more comfortable because you have to make them feel comfortable so that they're comfortable to share information with you because if they're not comfortable with you they're going to say, oh, it doesn't hurt, or this is not bothering me, when in reality it really is.
Right.
And they wait until they can't hide it anymore, where it's really serious, where it's like, oh shoot, now I gotta tell her because now I can't walk. So I feel like as an athletic trainer, we're kind of with the athletes, like with them more than their friends, their family, their teachers. So you really have to know how to communicate with people from all different walks of life,
Definitely.
even different languages. That's um, when I was working with men's soccer, I was learning how to, because I know Spanish, like I know how to speak it, I can understand it, but a lot of the athletes were Portuguese, like from Brazil. So it was different, like learning how to kind of simplify things so that they could understand it and making sure that they understood what I was trying to do with them. But they were a great group of guys too. So
Now, how exciting! You played on the national team and the under 15 team. How exciting would it be for you to actually get to work with one of these national teams, be the athletic trainer for one of these teams in the Virgin Islands? How excited would that be for you?
that would be really exciting. That's actually one of my end goals. Um, to I already have people like lined up saying like when they retire they want to come and be live in the Virgin Islands and be an athletic trainer. So we making it happen. I actually have a meeting this week with a couple people. She's actually an athletic trainer too from the Virgin Islands, VNL. And I found out that we went to, oh gosh, Miss Francis gonna hate me. What's the music camp that used to be at Charlotte Valley High School?
Is it
No,
Detroit?
not
No,
no.
yeah, you're definitely in trouble with Miss Francis watching.
It don't come to me
It
like
will.
when we keep talking. But we went to the same summer camp, and she remembered me because one of my classmates, she was talking about me, and like not everybody name is Isis. So she was like, Isis? She played violin? And my classmate was like, yeah, because I was the only one that played violin at this camp.
Right.
And so she was like, I went to camp with her. So we like bonded for that. And it was crazy because two of our Islanders ended up going, like she ended up going to UCF as well. Now we're both athletic trainers. So we're about to start like talking again so that we could start up some in the Virgin Islands to get it going in the schools, not just the national teams, because we need them in the high schools, we need them in the middle schools, we need them because up here, my friends they had athletic trainers in high school.
Hmm.
I didn't know what athletic trainer was till I went to college,
Definitely.
and it's like they're getting all this treatment, and that's like something that our athletes so they could take it to the next level because it's not just about playing the sport, it's about making sure your body is healthy, like making sure it's healthy and like making sure the injuries are treated and making sure that the injuries aren't getting to that point where it's like you getting a groin strain, you're pulling your hamstring, you you tearing your rotator cuff. For a lot of these athletes, it's a very repetitious game and you're constantly playing, but they're not taking care of their bodies. They're not doing the proper stretching, they're not doing the proper warm up. And it's like, if you want to play at the elite level, your body has to be able to take on what an elite athlete has to endure.
Definitely.
And if you're not having those resources to do that, you're it's not really your fault, but it is your fault because you can never take it to the next level. So that's like really important that we get our athletes to have that same type of care that these athletes in the States and even abroad have. So that's really important to me.
Definitely agree. Now, would you potentially get into work with one of these Virgin Islands teams? How big would it be for you to travel with them and represent your country? I mean, you've done it before, but this is a different stage of representing your country as an adult. How would you feel about being able to wear those VI colors and go in different places and just being a symbol of what Virgin Islands are?
I think I would be very proud. No matter where I go, like I show my VI pride. Everybody knows tree for O till I die. People always ask me like when they find out where I'm from, they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's like being able to work with our teams and just helping them succeed. I feel like that would just be the icing on the cake, knowing that I'm not just working with my Virgin Islanders, but helping them get to the next level and play at the next level.
Love it, love it. Now, Isis, you kind of get through our interview portion here, but we do have something very special here for you. An interactive game we like to call a few of my favorite things. So we're gonna figure out
Okay.
some of your favorite things here, learn a little bit more about Isis or Icy Hot, as we said earlier. So we're gonna learn a little bit more about you right here on Between the Lines. So I'm gonna ask you one of your favorite things, and you're gonna answer us, and we'll see if we can get some more learned about ISIS right here this evening. So the first thing on our list is going to be your favorite hobby besides sports.
Favorite hobby besides sports would probably be music.
That was
Whether
that
it's
was, that was a cheat.
listening. That was a cheat. Okay,
Yeah, we had another one. Something
okay,
besides
okay,
music.
okay. Um, does working out count as a sport?
No. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that as one.
Working out. Yeah.
All right, so working out. Your favorite color,
Blue.
like a regular
But I have
blue,
it gotta be like a
blue.
royal blue. Like the VI blue. The one
Okay,
right there.
royal blue.
And yep.
What's your second favorite? Everybody has a second favorite color.
So I have three. So
There you
it's
go.
blue, then black, obviously, and then purple.
Does black really count as a color when we count in favorites? I don't know.
Okay, well then purple. But everything look better than black. So
That's very true. Black. So blue, black, and purple.
yes.
All right. Your favorite your favorite store to shop in. Women love shopping. Favorite store.
I'm a sneakerhead, so I would say Foot Locker or Champs.
Okay, that's pretty different. Didn't think that one. Okay,
Yeah.
Lucker Champs. Your your favorite musical artist.
Hmm. Why you gotta do it like that? Cause
It's not to give a top five. Give me a count from five all the way down to one. Then
it's kind of based on genre too. So like, if I go in with my, you know, dancehall, like soul, reggae, definitely pop on.
okay.
Um, see, next adapt. Um, in terms of like R&B, I'm gonna have to say Rod Wave, kind of R&B rap
Huh.
in
That's a good one.
between. Rod Wave. That's true, right?
That's true.
Rod Wave. Lil Durk, and I would say
One more.
who else on my playlist?
Look at you cheating.
um, we gonna go with NBA YoungBoy.
All right. So now you name five. A good five. Now you gotta pick one. If somebody's having a concert tomorrow, whose concert are you going to of those five people? Gotta be a
Popcorn.
favorite. Oh, have you seen it before in person, live?
No, but I did see Coffee and Buju Banton when they had come to Tortola. I did see that one. That was my first like real live concert, I think.
Are you moving
Other
on
than
down?
Carnival Village.
I mean, that's real. They're real.
Yeah,
Real artists. I think so. That counts.
that
Your favorite athlete.
I don't have to say like my top for me, Alex Morgan. She's a women's soccer player.
That's a good choice. No, she's been very successful on with Team USA. So
Yes,
definitely a good
yeah,
choice. That's
yeah.
different. I've never heard that one so far, but I like that. Alex Morgan. Your favorite sports team.
See, it's crazy because the amount of sports, like I love sports, but growing up, I didn't have cable, so it's like I never really got to watch like sports, like to have a sports team, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like people like, oh, the Lakers, or I like the 49ers. Like, I don't really have one. That's one of my goals to find a sports team that I could call my favorite.
Okay. We'll take that answer. Your favorite academic subject.
Favorite academic subject? If PE don't count, it would be
all athletes pick PE, so PE does not count right now.
If P don't count, I would say anatomy.
Okay, right, right up your alley, right? The sciences and stuff, the health. Okay. Your favorite sports movie? You have to like a sports movie. It have to be a really good one. Favorite sports movie?
Ooh, I would say Coach Carter.
What's so special about Coach Carter? This is the second week in a row someone picked Coach Carter as their favorite sports movie. What about Coach Carter?
I don't know. It's just it. It just shows you like every team has potential. Like you could be the underdog and come out at the top just by having that person or people within the team that kind of just makes that difference. And I feel like I was always sometimes not considered the best player, but I made sure I put in the work to be the best at what I knew I could be the best at, to be the best in my sport or my position.
Okay.
So I really love that movie for that.
That's always a classic. One of my favorites as well is when it comes to sports movies. So I just really wanted an explanation because I was just amazed that 2 weeks in a row somebody picked Coach Carter of all the sports movies there is out there. 2 weeks in a row. Your favorite sports moment
Yeah.
you were not involved in. So you couldn't be playing. You could have been there working, but not playing. Favorite sports moment that you were involved with.
I would honestly say like this past weekend, um, there was it was a UCF softball, obviously. Um, when it was the last pitch, and one of the players like it was a catch that I didn't think could even be made, and she caught it, got the final out, and now they're going to super regionals.
Okay, okay. A recent one, pretty good, pretty new. I like that. Some people usually say things that are involved with, so I had to cut it short real quick. Something that you weren't involved with, because
And
I'm sure you have
volleyball.
1,000 great moments that you love from your sports playing career. Now, getting real local here. Your
Hmm.
favorite local food. What do you have to have when you come home?
What I have to have, it could be more than one, or
Mm, nah, we're gonna make you pick one, just one.
okay, it gotta be Johnny Cake,
Johnny Cake,
like
not
real
pate. Johnny
Johnny
Cake.
Cake, because I'm a vegetarian, so it's like it depends on who making the veggie pate. Then I'll get a veggie pate.
Okay. So if you take in between pate and Johnny Cake, what you gonna pick? A good veggie pate. What you gonna pick?
Veggie pate or ooh, I forgot about roti, but veggie pate.
All right, veggie pate for the win here. Like it. Your favorite drink, favorite local drink.
I don't have to say sorrow.
Ooh,
It's between
this is a
sorrow
good.
and passion fruit.
Now that you say between sour and passion fruit, you know we're gonna make you choose. So you gotta choose one.
I know.
You got to choose one. Those are two iconic
Oh,
drinks. Those are you pit them against each other. Sorrel or passion fruit?
I can go with my sorrow.
Bad answer, but we're gonna take it. Very
I
bad
know.
answer.
It is a bad answer. It is a bad answer.
Your favorite tart. Now, before you go, been very long and hard about this one because this one might have to end the show right now if you choose the wrong kind of tart. Your favorite tart.
I
This is
I
hair.
already know. I already know.
Favorite type.
There's a wrong answer, isn't there?
Very wrong answer. A wrong answer and a half, actually. Because they only get one real kind of tart. Let's see what you think. Your favorite kind of tart.
Pineapple tart.
You are a winner. You are a winner, a winner, a winner. That is the only kind of tart that exists. Please ignore all the guava tart people in our comments. Only pineapple tart. You win. You win.
Only,
The last couple of
only.
guests have been choosing guava. Somebody choose pineapple. But you have definitely won this season by picking pineapple tart. Love it. All right. So now that we're done with our interactive game here, we have some very interesting images of you, our special guest here, and we want you to tell us what was happening in these pictures, or who are these
Oh
people, or
gosh.
what was this moment like for you. Might be some embarrassing
Okay.
ones, but we're going to see right here.
I'm already knowing.
Let's see what we have.
Oh gosh.
What is this, and where are you? Haha, found you.
You found me, right? Okay.
Found you.
I'm at the bottom row with my mouth wide open. This was AYSO. Like I told you guys, I was in AYSO. We was the team to beat. Nobody used to beat us. As you can see, we have the trophy to prove it. So we were taking our little picture. I don't know if I was screaming or laughing or, but mm, yeah, you could
Now,
see me.
what year you think this picture was?
Like 2006,
2006.
8.
And how
It
about
was
how old were you?
2006.
What age group was this
I
picture
had
of the
to,
material?
this had to be under 10.
Under 10.
Yeah. Yeah. It was either to 12. Yeah. Either 10, I think it was 10 to 12 or 8. Because you could see like the people that's in the lighter blue, they in 10 to 12, and the us in the blue, I don't know. I was about, my mom say I was about 8. So,
Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here on screen for you. Well, it gets
oh
worse
my
as we
god.
go on. It gets worse.
Oh my gosh. This was volleyball. Um, what
There we
year?
go.
I know this is definitely JV. I'm the third person to the right by the ball.
Third person
You
to
can
the
see
right.
I was number 18, I think. Yeah, I got big, big.
Got you. Found you.
Oh, this was, I guess, is this JV? I think, yeah, this is JV. Oh my God. Yeah,
But did,
JV volleyball.
was this before a win, or when was this?
I think this is just like we got our uniforms and it was kind of like take a picture for the yearbook type of vibe.
Okay. I hope you can remember all of your teammates in this picture. Can you do that? Can you list all of them?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Let's go. Let's start
Are
from the
we
top.
going? Okay, so like the person to the top left, she kind of cut off, but I think that's Kylan, um, Ariel, Michaela, Kelsey, Brianna, Junior, Catherine, Kendall, me, Claudia, Caroline, Casimira, Nalani, um, Melanie, Sierra, Jermaine, Avery, Megan, Ruby, Kayla, Leslie Ann, and Michelle.
All right, now we're gonna see if you remember it the same way you're doing it right now. Let's see what else we have here of you.
Oh my gosh. So this is my freshman year. In college, soccer. And we were taking a picture with like the upperclassmen. That the girl number 15, that was my roommate. That's still my good girl. Nalini. Then number 10, Maddie. Number 8. Number 8. Oh my gosh.
I can't remember. But I
I
need a
know
last.
her name. T. It started with a T. Myself, Sage, Cody, and I think that's Sarah. Her name T. I'm blanking.
That one's gonna come back to you too,
Yeah.
hopefully. And this was your freshman year. Was this a year you broke your ankle?
Yeah, this was before. So these were like taking like pre-seed, like when we first got there, because you take you do all your media pictures, photos for the roster, all that stuff. So that was that. So this was before I twisted my ankle, hurt my ankle.
All right, let's see what else we have here for you.
Oh my gosh.
This
So
was
this was lacrosse practice.
uh-huh.
Pretty sure this is my junior or senior year. With one of the freshmen. You can see defense we wore purple, offense wore white.
Right.
Our jerseys were reversible, so like if they wanted you on offense or put you on defense, you could switch. And we were kind of just doing some quick flicks before practice before we got our butts kicked. So
Now, how was this year for you guys? Was it successful in your junior year?
yeah, it was pretty successful. In terms of, it was not as good as our senior year though, but it was definitely got a lot more numbers, like way better players, seasoned athletes in terms of like actual athletes that were recruited who played lacrosse. So they kind of helped step up the game um, that we were playing.
Okay, let's see what else we have here for you. It's getting better, heating up.
Oh, this is national team. I'm on the top left with my eyes closed. This was in Jamaica. Yes, Jamaica.
What year was
We
that?
were. Was this? No, this was Trinidad. This was Trinidad. So Trinidad was 2018, 2017, 2017. We were watching the other teams play.
Now, did you guys have success this year?
That's the other thing. Like we we have a lot of talented players, but we just don't practice enough together. It's kind of hard when you have girls coming from St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and even from the States, uh, trying to get all of us, to practice every day where you're playing against teams like Jamaica, Haiti, and they practice every day. So that's like another thing we're trying to work on as a team, practicing more. So you kind of can get that team, you know, system. Like we still have been successful. I know when we went to Jamaica, like we surprised ourselves in terms of not getting as many goals scored on us by Jamaica, and they have girls from who play on the US women's national team, play professionally abroad in Europe, and we held them for a whole half 0-0. So it's doable. Like we could do some damage. It's just getting the fitness and getting our fitness up, and playing as a team, bringing all the skills together as one. So we have the potential. We definitely do.
It sounds like you have the plan there going. You might be on the coaching staff in a couple of years. Sounds like. Let's see what else
We
we
can
have here
see.
for you.
Oh my gosh, bruh.
What was this one?
This was in the locker room. This was Jamaica. So this was right before COVID, 2019. And trying to do the serious face, throwing up the ball action flick, with the VF flag in the background.
It worked.
It kind of works, but geez, I'm bred.
All right, let's see what else we have.
This is me and my mom at my senior game, like senior, senior day or whatever. She came to watch it. We won this game, thankfully. Um, and I had a couple good plays in that game, so she got to see that, which I was happy about. But this was after the game.
All right, we got one more here for you.
Hey, turn up, turn up.
What was this?
That's my part of one of the scenes of my graduation photo shoot that my classmate, who's also a photographer, she took, Madison. She took these photos of me. It's like a tradition for you if you go to UCF, you know about this pond. Um, they have like the spirit splash in there where they fill the whole pond up with rubber duckies. And it's like a thing, like you want to get there early to get the rubber ducky for before the football game and all that stuff. So it's a thing also to take a graduation picture in the pond. So that's what this is.
And this was 20. What year?
2020, currently 2022.
This was 2022.
Yeah. Well, this year. Yes.
And I think we have one more actually.
What? This is why I need to take pictures off my Facebook, because this is atrocious. This is sheesh. I don't know what year this is. I know it's definitely, I think, freshman. I'm a freshman in college. I came home maybe going into my sophomore year, maybe, or I'm a senior. Yeah, I think this is senior year of high school. But I was at the radio talk show playing on the dates, 2015. Yeah, my senior year.
I just want you to know, Mom is in the comments with all the facts, all the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I think. 2015. Yeah, so I was on the radio talk show for, can't remember why I was on there, but I've been on a couple interviews with my violin, so it was on a radio talk show. I believe the one that's down by
It definitely looks like Radio
not
One by Frenchtown.
Radio One. Yeah, Frenchtown.
All right, so you get you the pictures. I think we get one more. You ready for this last one?
Just put it on there.
I'm kidding. That was the last one. That actually was the last one. So you made it to the end of our pictures there. And we made it to the end of the interview as well. So we really want to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us to kind of get a better feeling out there of what athletic training is. Any shout outs you want to give to any friends, family members, anybody that might be watching while you're here this evening?
Yes. Definitely want to give a shout out to my bestie, Jerissa Lake, for tuning in. She's seen me through my ups and downs, and she's even helped me with videos when I had to do videos during my schooling with her. Definitely want to thank God Himself for helping me, blessing me every day. Definitely my family, my mom. I know my father's watching down on me and so happy of all the things I've been doing. My grandma, my aunts and uncles. Definitely want to thank some of my friends that I've made here for tuning in, Abby and Marcus. They are watching a couple of the faculty at UCF who really helped me. Dr. Christian Selhays, Jen Plant, Dr. Qual, Carlos Qual, and Dr. Colby Magnum. And then also just a special shout out to class of 2022 of the MAT program. We did it. All of my cohort. Just want to give a shout out to them as well. Elise, Alyssa, Madison Guns, all of them, Madison Danini, Lauren Bolander, Andrew, Kira, Shane, Blaine, Rebecca, not forgetting anyone, Madison Danini as well, Tegan, I think that's it. There was only 13 of us.
Got a lot of
Um,
support.
yeah. And even my preceptors, Tessa and Aaliyah, and just anyone really who helped me throughout the program. I really want to say thank you to them and dealing with me and having the patience, and all of my friends and family for believing in me and kind of telling me to keep going. Um, Thank you for the people in the chat, Nathan, my mom, uh, Taquan, and also thank you guys for having me on the show. It was a pleasure. I've always watched the interviews. I never thought I would actually be on here.
Right.
So I really appreciate you guys.
No problem. Thank you once again. You did a great job. Stick around with us here a little bit more. We have some more stuff for you coming up next. But Live Wire fans, thank you guys once again for tuning in. This was another episode of Between the Lines presented to you by Live Wire Sports. We are live again next week. I have another special guest. Want to let you guys know. Stay tuned to the page. A lot is coming. We got a lot going on here at Live Wire Sports, and we're glad you guys are supporters and you are involved with us every step of the way. Stay tuned for more action from Live Wire Sports. Have a good night, and see you guys later.
but still I woke up today. Another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, oh, oh, oh. Effort and built for pan really. Oh, oh, oh. Effort and built for pan really.